Hi, I'm Dr. Betsy Guerra, and I am a speaker, a coach, a psychotherapist, and I train service driven people like you who are faithful and want to elevate humanity in my faith based coaching academy. But what's most exciting about my mission is that I get to ignite faith, unlock greatness, so that we may use our God given gifts to elevate humanity. I can't wait to connect with you.
On cam ready in 3, 2, 1.
This is Unknown to Known, an on-cam ready presentation. I'm Jamie Maglietta. Thanks so much for being with us today. I'm really hoping that on this episode, you walk away with some inspiration. Our guest, Betsy Guerra, is so captivating. I watched her speak and I had to have her on the show. I instantly thought that she could be an expert for grief. But what I love is how in this show, she explains that she's actually an expert in hope, in providing hope. I love that. That's a great way for us to kick off 2026 with this episode of Unknown to Known. If you're liking what I'm offering here, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I also have tutorials on how you can become more efficient with your production skills as a podcaster, a YouTuber. In my podcast, Think Like a Producer, I also offer tutorials on how you can better use Riverside and other platforms, as well as how to pick your lights and mics. So be sure to check those out. Some of them are still rolling out, by the way. But Unknown to Known is all about interviewing experts to help you really wrap your head around what it means to show up. And there comes a moment in every creator's journey, every expert's climb, every human life, when the lights go dim and everything goes dark and they don't know which way to go. And I'm hoping that with this podcast and everything else I'm offering on the channel, you have some direction. You know, being in the dark isn't forever, right? But it can be long enough for you to start questioning why you started, why you believe, and make you think you can't keep going on. I've been there, guys. I restarted my podcast and I've been going since August of 2025. And yeah, it's a lot. And that moment when you dip to black and you don't know where to go next, I've been calling it you're dipping to black. You've dipped to black. So if you dip to black in 2025 and you want to come back to life in 2026, this is where the transformation begins, in the darkness. And we talk about that in this episode with Betsy. She's a bilingual psychotherapist, an international speaker, and author of the book Hurt to Hope, Heal the Pain of Loss, Grief, and Adversity. With us now is Betsy. Betsy, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited, Jamie.
You know, when I first saw you give a talk on a stage, I was completely moved. But it's because you had such an incredible story that you were passionate about. You had an incredible point of view and you delivered it with passion. Can you take us back to what led to your career as a coach, to that moment in 2013 and how you've evolved since?
That's a loaded question, Jamie.
It's a lot.
Okay, so I lived a fairy tale life. I had found my Prince Charming. We had 4 children together, and there was a lot of love in my life. Every day was a beautiful day. Even like the ordinary was special. And I feel like there was like no song I wouldn't sing to my kids, no lullabies, no book I wouldn't read. It was like my husband and I, like our kids could catch us any given moment in the kitchen dancing. It was like life was perfect. And then one morning, it was a Sunday morning, August 25th, 2013. And my husband and I were in the kitchen in the like early morning, and the hallway door opened up, revealing my almost 3-year-old daughter. She was my second of 4. And she had like curls and like big brown eyes and a beautiful smile. So she comes up and she runs to us, and I go on one knee and I open my arms. I'm like, "Good morning, sunshine." And she hugs me, and then she goes do the juicing game with daddy, where she had to guess what veggies and fruits were in the juice. And it was like every little moment was really special. And that afternoon, after we came back from church, we We were having a pool party to just celebrate the end of the summer. Like my oldest had just started school for the first time ever. And we were about to start construction in the backyard. So we're like, oh, we'll do a little pool party. So our friends came, our family who felt like our friends who felt like family, our family, everybody was there. Like it was about 50 of us. And at some point, I'm inside the pool. My Like there's people all over. Inside, outside, inside the house, looking out, in the tiki, like in the corner, like everywhere there's people. And the little ones, my friends' kids, were at the edge of the pool playing with water toys with my daughter. And at some point, my friend that I was talking to inside the pool goes like, "Where's Fofi?" Fofi is what we called my middle daughter. And at that moment, I was like, Where is Fofi?" But I had no reason to like, I don't know, to fear, but for some reason, like I started feeling like anxious and terrified, and like, where is Fofi? And like I couldn't find her anywhere, and I looked everywhere, and I was hyper vigilant, and I'm like, where is she? And at some point, I look next to me, and there she is, but at the bottom of the pool. So I go inside the pool and I clutch her against my chest and I bring her up and I fight gravity because gravity is wanting me to like stay down in the dumps, in the black, in the dark. And I'm like, no, let's go outside. So I like brought her out, put her on the edge. I give her CPR. I had a friend there that was a medical doctor. She came and attended to her. She had a heartbeat. She had a pulse. So, like she called 911. 911 got here in 5 minutes. We got to the hospital in 5 more minutes. Like it was a perfect scenario for like everything to be okay. And I'm a woman of faith. So I knew everything was going to be okay. I knew. So I just prayed and prayed and prayed. And during the entire time that felt like an eternity, and yet it was an instant, I just prayed and prayed and prayed. And we're in the hospital. And at some point I see that there's a monitor, and the monitor has two lines. There's a zigzag line, and then there's a straight line. And I had no idea what they meant, but I saw the straight line, and I'm like, but she had a pause. Like, is that the flat line? Like, and I just, I begged God, like, make her heart beat, Lord, make her heart beat, Lord, make her heart beat. I just prayed, just prayed. And God did not make my daughter's heart beat. And I left the hospital without my daughter. And if you've ever been to a hospital with your child, you hope to come out of the hospital with your child. And I remember that night feeling feeling such darkness. Like I've always been happy and positive, and I have a doctorate in clinical psychology. At the time I had been practicing for 13 years, and I just had so much joy inside of me and so much faith, and it was the first time in my life that I saw black. Like it was all dark. And I I thought I was gonna go crazy. And for the first time in all those years studying psychology, I understood why people go crazy. Because sometimes reality is so excruciating and unbearable that you just can't fathom the possibility of existing in it. And and I that night I somehow managed to go to sleep, and the next thing I know is that I'm on the bathroom floor in my daughter's bedroom, rocking back and forth like a deranged woman, wanting to rip my head off. Like I just wanted to take it off so I didn't have to think or believe. I wanted to wake up from that nightmare. And then my husband came in, and like I I saw Jesus, right? Like I'm a Christian, and I saw God in him. Like he literally physically picked me up and brought me back and interrupted that darkness. So like he was a little angel at the time. And then the next day I met with hope. Just the next day, Jamie. I feel like the luckiest woman on earth, even though I could feel like the unluckiest woman on earth, because the next day, just one night of pure darkness, the next day I met with hope. I remember waking up and seeing the light of the sun, like wanting to peek through the blinds. I had blackouts, but like it was peeking in. And I remember thinking, like, how dare you, sun? Like, what the heck? Like, how dare you come out and like start a new day as if nothing had happened? Like, slow down, world. Like, stop.
Mhm.
Stop so that I can grieve, so that I can feel, so that I can come to terms with what just happened. And then just a few hours later, I'm in my walk-in closet hiding from the amount of people that were there to support us, really.
Mhm.
And I receive a visitor. It was the priest who baptized my children. He's like to me, he's the face of God here on earth. He's a beautiful person. And he's an older man, Cuban, very short and just cozy and like a teddy bear. So he comes and he sits with us on the floor of my husband and I, on the floor of the walk-in closet. And my husband was like, Father, you've seen this before. Is it possible to be happy again? Can we be happy again? And the priest said, some people are happy again and some people are never happy again. So my husband insisted and he was like, what's the difference? Well, like what's the difference between one and the other? And the priest said, the people who are never happy again choose to honor their loved one through suffering.
Mm.
The more they loved, the more they need to cry, suffer, and feel. But the people who are happy again choose a different way of honoring their loved one. They they honor them through love, service, and gratitude, so they can give themselves permission to move forward without leaving behind. Sometimes we think that moving forward is leaving behind, but I move forward with my daughter. She's
Mhm.
very much a part of my life to the present moment. So obviously, I didn't feel any different that day, but that was the beginning of like, I believed him, Jamie. I believed that what he was saying was true and that I could be happy again because it was possible. He said it was possible. He had seen it. So he embodied hope. And I swore at that moment that I would honor through love, service, and gratitude, which is a lot harder than just dwelling, crawling up in a ball and crying all day. So
Mhm.
much easier to do that when that's what you naturally feel. But I promised that I was going to honor her through service, and that led me to embody hope like
Mhm.
him. And now I get to do that for other people. I get to be hope. And they believe me not because of the doctorate in clinical psychology or 25 years of experience. They believe me because I be it, because I was there, because I felt the pain, the darkness that they have experienced too.
Mhm.
And I'm the happiest woman on earth nowadays. Nowadays, I went from excruciating pain
Mm.
to I'm I'm so happy. It's unbearable sometimes too. Like I have so much joy inside of me and I have the peace that surpasses all understanding that like the peace and the joy that depend not on external circumstances. So I'm on a mission. I'm on a
Mhm.
mission not just to say that to people, to convey that to people. I'm on a mission to be it for people so that they believe not my words, but what I ooze, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's how my life changed and my career naturally changed. In fact, obviously I was a practicing therapist at the time, but I I sprinkled faith in the work that I did. Like if I always asked my clients if they believed in something and I used that to as a protective factor,
Mhm.
but it wasn't like one of the main components of the work that I did. And afterwards I was like, I can't leave it out. I it's what saved me. I had the doctorate in psychology and I still had that dark moments and hopelessness and in the bathroom. Like it helps. Psychology helps. It's amazing. Like the tools that we can get are so beautiful and powerful and it's limited. Faith is what like just allowed me to rise up and see the light again and maintain the hope even when I couldn't see the end of the tunnel. So I, ever since my career shifted and I've developed a psycho-spiritual approach to coaching that I now teach globally. And I have an accredited faith-based coaching academy. And I just teach people how to like connect with the divine wisdom, with the, I call it the Holy Spirit. And I teach them everything that has ever served me of my doctorate and my education in psychology so that they can combine
Mhm.
both the personal development, understanding, mastering human understanding, but also tap into that divine wisdom that transcends the human understanding. So
Mhm.
I get to live a beautiful life while honoring my daughter, and I get to do a work that I love. That's also my ministry, but it's also the way I keep her alive. So it's it's been a blessing. The experience of having losing my daughter was and continues to be the most excruciating pain of my life. The experience of loss has been the greatest blessing because I've evolved and I've transcended human limitations that I didn't think were even possible. I lived for my family, still do.
Mm.
And I
Wow.
still do for her too. So she's very much a part of my life. Life
Mhm.
love transcends death is what I've learned in this journey. Love transcends death and pain is only the path, never the destination. So whenever I feel pain, even now, I allow myself to feel it because feeling is healing. But I know that that if I'm in pain, I haven't arrived,
Mhm.
right? And even from my faith, if like Easter doesn't end on, I'm sorry, Lent doesn't end on Good Friday, right? Like it ends on Easter, on resurrection, on rising. So I feel like all of us, all of you
Mhm.
listening to me, you you know the ending to your story. It's rising, it's live, it's resurrection, and it's joy. It's the peace that surpasses all understanding because all things work for the good of those who love him. We know the ending to our story. So
Mhm.
whenever we're in the middle of it, we get to remember that we haven't arrived. And that's hope. Hope
Mhm.
is knowing that something awaits when you are not seeing it with your physical senses, right? Like it's already yours, it's already there. You just get to push through and trust and believe and continue to move forward one step, one moment at a time.
Mm. Yeah. No, and that's why I really felt like Betsy would be a great guest for this for our conversation here, guys, because of her words that she just spoke. Something tragic happened, and yet she's able to passionately deliver and also help you in the process. It's very moving and inspiring. And if you're a thought leader with a point of view, she's someone that you could look up to as a leader in this field because she's creating a media company. She's got a podcast, a book. She's a speaker. She's on social media, and she's out there as a mission driven leader, putting her advice, her words of wisdom, her experiences out there to help you along your own journey, essentially in any journey that you're on. But for our audience, we're all on that journey of unknown to known. You don't know what you are and who you are right now, but you have that hope that you're going to become known. You're going to become that expert in your field, and you're going to do it by showing up on camera and putting yourself out there. And that's why
Absolutely.
Betsy's perfect for this audience. And Betsy, thank you for sharing that story. I you know what I've been through, but we all have those dipping to black moments. And I spoke about this on my last episode of just how we have those moments of darkness where we don't know what to do next. We don't know who we're going to become. We don't know who we want to choose to be when we come out of that darkness and how we want to live because you're in that moment of chaos or uncertainty and you can't see ahead. And because of that, some people can't see themselves pushing themselves out there into that space of becoming known within their niche because they're so held back by personal challenges or heartache or pivoting or job loss. And I'm hoping that on this episode, we can kind of inspire them a little bit, to push themselves through, to see what's on the other side and have hope that their hard work will pay off and that showing up is going to help them get their message out there.
Amen
As
to that.
someone, and I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, but
Yes, yes. You were purposely, intently, mindfully created to fulfill a mission, a purpose. Like we think like, oh, my story is not good enough. But your story is exactly what a lot of people who have been assigned to you need to hear. I like a lot of people resonate with me, but then there are others that can't connect because
Mhm,
my story is not similar to theirs. So like sometimes we think that like our story or what we have to offer is too small, and we don't realize that that is exactly what somebody else needs to hear to
mhm,
be able to propel forward, to rise. And how dare, like, sometimes we're like, how dare I think that I am good enough to do this? How dare you not?
mm,
My coach would tell me, how dare you not? You cannot afford not to show up in front of that camera, not to say the thing that God's putting in your heart to share, because there are people praying and waiting for you. It's
mhm,
not even about you anymore. Sometimes we're like, oh my goodness, no, I don't like the camera and I don't dare do this. It's not about you. It's about who you're here to impact. So think again. Think again.
mhm.
You get to show up for yourself, yes, and most especially for the people that you don't even know have been assigned to you.
And, when you were starting to figure out what you wanted to be doing with your life after your daughter's death, did it come together very organically or was it just testing things out and trying to figure out, okay, how much of me do I want to share and how do I want to position myself to help others? Was it testing that or were you just putting it out there and seeing where it goes or were you very strategic? Like, okay, I'm going to share this and that's it.
Jamie, nothing that I've ever done has been smooth. Nothing. I so for even the bringing faith into the component, like into the mix, was a process.
Mhm,
I always hire coaches. I'm a psychologist, but I also connect as a like I feel more of a coach because I feel like psychologists go and study that in human understanding in books, but coaches have lived and walked to talk, and then somehow they find the information to be able to teach it and share it. But so I resonate more with being a coach, and I only hire coaches because I want to hire people who are where I want to be at, right?
mhm,
So, and I train and certify life coaches. So, coaching is a thing for me. And I remember processing with my coach, and I was like, I don't know, like, I feel like this is true to me, and this is like, this is like wanting to come out of me. But like, what if I limit the amount of
mhm,
people that I get access to? What if I turn off some people who are not like into the spirituality? Because I think I'm a practicing Catholic, I but I think I'm more spiritual. I care more about spirituality than religion.
mm,
Spirituality is a relationship with God. And so I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And I had to like process that, um, like find peace, pray about it, try it out, listen to my clients. And a lot of my clients have told me before when I was just sprinkling it that what they loved the most about our process was that they brought them closer to God again, right? Like maybe they were a little estranged. And I'm super subtle and respectful and not judgy, right? Like I want people to fall in love with God, not to be like, you have to do this and believe
mhm.
this because if not, no, I don't do it. I don't do it that way. I'm not preachy. I'm just like little by little, I get you to like, ooh, fall in love with whatever you call this magic that God is to me, right? I call him God, but you can call him universe, energy, like whatever.
Mhm,
I'm okay with that. So I started listening to people, because I know God created me with purpose. So I want to listen to those who have been assigned to me. Like, what is it that I did for them, and what is it that they got most out of the process that we have together? So it was like a journey to then, okay, I'm going to include faith. Then I felt called to work on grief. My expertise was always couples. I love working with couples. They called me the couples whisperer in Miami.
Mm.
I'm really good with couples. And I like I believe in marriage wholeheartedly. I think it's sacred. So I protect marriage. And yeah, like I loved it. But then I felt a calling to work with grief. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I've never identified with grief, right? Like grief was never an identity
Mhm.
I adopted or accepted as mine. I always wanted to find joy. I didn't from the beginning, right? But it was always my North Star. So I was like, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I remember going to my coach's office once and coming out like crying. I'm like, I don't want to do this, God. I don't want to be the grief lady. I like being the couples whisperer. That's such a much better title. And then I was like, well, okay, okay, I'm obedient. I
Mhm.
fight. I fight, right? Like, but I'm obedient. So if God put something in my heart, I'm gonna do it. So that helped me, the obedience. And I remember I did it, and it was hard and beautiful.
Mhm.
And and in that journey, so I've always had like the practicing part, like the private practice, like the things that I do like face to face. But I also do speaking. And I remember every time I would go speak, I would speak about something psychology, fancy, like, never would I ever talk about my daughter because in my head, I thought, oh, I am monetizing her or my loss. Like, how dare I
Mhm.
like talk about her when they're paying me? Like, it felt like I was using her, like I was using our story. Like, it felt so wrong. And I remember one day I went with my one of my best friends who's also a colleague and she was my speaking coach. She went with me to an event that I was speaking at and I was talking psychology like I wanted to. And then suddenly one thing led to the other. It was an interactive speaking engagement
Mhm.
and I started sharing like the story of my daughter and all it was a parent it was an audience of parents and it was in a school and the parents are all looking at me very intently and very
Mhm.
engaged and very connected and like emotionally invested and as soon
Yeah.
as I realized what I was doing I like cut it off. I interrupted and kept on talking psychology and my friend on the way back to our homes she was like, why did you do that?
Mm.
You had them. Like they were captivated and they were engaged and connected. Why did you do that? Like I drastically like interrupted that and I kept on talking about something else what I thought fancy psychology doctorate like it's a lot better than talking about my story
Yeah.
or trying to monetize quote unquote my story
Mhm.
of my daughter. And I was like, no, because I don't want to monetize. And I explained to her my limited belief. And she was like, no, Betsy, when you share your story, you connect. You're
Yeah.
relatable. And I'm like, no, 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 I wasn't ready to receive it. And
Mhm.
then when I hired another business coach later on, it came up. And that's when she was like, I'm like, no, how dare I use this to monetize, to get paid for it? And that's when she said, how dare you not?
Yeah.
How dare you not connect with people? How dare you not use your pain, repurpose your pain to help others who are going through it at the time?
Mhm.
How dare you not? And of course, God, the universe, whatever you call it, right? It gave me the opportunity to speak at another event. And I was like, okay, God, okay, I'm gonna obey. And if you want me to talk about this, I will. So I did have the fancy topic in psychology, but I told the story to connect and to connect with the content, and I felt so alive,
Mm.
Jamie. I I it took me, I'm telling you in a nutshell, but it took me months, maybe
Mhm.
years to go through the process of reprogramming my beliefs, my mindset, and finding peace and stepping into that plays with like role with courage and determination and obedience, I must say, obey your soul, the enlightenment within, the wisdom within, the God within, the Holy Spirit, whatever you call him, like, it's gonna guide you. So if you obey that, the intuition, like if you obey that, you are joy is gonna meet you there. Right? Like I went from crying in the car on my way out, thinking, I don't want to be the grief girl, to I'm the hope girl. I never had to be the grief girl. I'm the hope girl.
Mhm.
Because it's not about grief. It's about hope in adversity. It's about faith in adversity. And when I say faith, like if you don't resonate with the word faith because you think it's a religious term, permission granted to be faithful. Because faith is not just for the religious. Faith is believing in what you cannot see. You believe that it's possible for you to succeed. You believe your car is gonna turn on when you get in the car, and that's why you get the keys and you go out and you get in the
Mhm.
car, right? Like that's faith. And you get to have faith in a higher power if you believe in one, but you also get to have faith in yourself, your ability to do hard things, faith in the journey. Pain is the path, never the destination. Faith in the people that are assigned to support you and inspire you. And hopefully Jamie and I are some of those people right here, right now. I had faith in this priest. I believed him wholeheartedly. I believed something I couldn't see or imagine
Mm.
at the time. Being happy again,
Mhm.
that was like, what? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Believing in what you cannot see.
Yeah. That's whew, it's a lot, to even hear again. And I've heard your story, but every time I'm just thinking about my kids or thinking about, what we've all been through. Like everyone has their own personal issues, you can have your darkness. It's all about how you handle it and move forward with it. And, what I've loved seeing over this past, year that I've seen you online and just at events is you've really evolved in my just since I've known you, and I feel like you're taking this ownership of your media, your social media, your messaging on all your platforms, your podcast. And, as an expert, I'm constantly telling people as experts, they really need to have ownership of their point of view and put it out there in all different types of formats so that they can connect with their audience. And I'm wondering how you find that going. Do you feel like it's resonating with your audience? Are you having good feedback? How has it been for you?
Yes. So something I learned from Rory Vaden, which I know you and I both learned from, is that people connect not with the content per se,
Mhm.
like in my case, psychology, spirituality, but your point of view in regards to that content, which is what makes it so special. Because what I say, I don't think anything I say is new, right? Like sometimes I think I came up with concepts and then I read a book and I'm like, really? Like I thought about this. Why are you writing about it here? Like this is mine. And like I don't think it's that original what I share, and yet it's so unique, Jamie, because it's me. It's the
Yes,
combination
because
of
there's
my
only one you.
energy. Yes, my energy, my charisma, my way of thinking, my experiences, my beliefs, like it's like my education. It's all of it. So there's only one you, and that's exactly what some people need. Like you, the way you say things, the examples and the stories you tell, the way you show up. Like I, my best friends are like, you need to do Botox because you are a public figure and you need to do this and that. And I barely wear makeup and I don't do Botox. And
Mhm,
and I'm like, no, that's
mhm.
part of me. right? Like I have a bunch of white hairs that I'm proud of. And that's part of what makes me me. So it's the combination of all that you stand for and every experience you have and what you bring to the table that makes you special. So take ownership. I listened to Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. Recently, he was in an event that I was in, and he goes to like these fancy conferences with C-level people and the president of the United States, and they're all wearing suits, and he is in his t-shirt and his sweatpants, like he does not care. And in fact, some one time when they were hiring for a speech, they told him like, listen, like you're gonna get paid $100,000, but you need to wear a suit. He's like, absolutely not, not wearing a suit. And then you see a picture of him with his like ghetto outfit. I love you, E.T. Thomas. I don't think you're ghetto, but it was a little bit ghetto, right? Like, and everybody else in a suit, right? Like, so own it.
Mhm.
Be you. Be you. And people will fall in love with it. That's my experience. My experience is the more me I am, I bought a new car. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna show everybody my dream car. It is my dream car. And it's a minivan. My dream car is a minivan. My friends think I'm crazy for having yet another minivan. And I think I'm the coolest minivan driver on the face of the earth, right? Like,
Mhm.
and people love that.
When those
So,
doors open, man, I love it too.
it's the
Kids get
best.
out.
Well, I may have upgraded a little bit recently. I got a Kia. By the way, this is not a paid commercial, but
No.
I had a Kia Carnival, and now they're like an SUV on the outside, but there's still
Oh.
a minivan inside, and the doors open like a minivan. I'm like, this is amazing. It makes me so happy. So anyhow, yes, I've owned it. I own who I am and what I stand for, what I believe. I respect others' beliefs wholeheartedly. That's something that I stand for, like, strongly. I'm okay with people thinking and feeling differently, and I even in my program, I invite them to disagree. If they, I don't want them to believe me at any cost. I want them to think for themselves, to connect with the indwelling wisdom and discern. I do that, and maybe that's even part of what attracts them more to me
Mhm.
and gives me more access to influence and to elevate.
Yeah,
So own and love it, and people will follow. People love authenticity.
they do. And, it's really hard for some people listening to figure out how to be themselves and who they want to show. And I think this conversation is hopefully reinforcing what I've been saying. It's like you just have to be your authentic self and try to let yourself just be who you are. For a long time, I would show up on camera and my husband would say, "Oh, you have that TV anchor voice. Can't you just be yourself?" And I'd be like, I don't know how. I don't know how." It's all about just feeling confident through creating your content. Create the content, put yourself out there, try new things. And I hope that in 2026, as everyone's starting to plan things out for the new year, that they have a strategy that helps them put themselves first, and put themselves out there, and they can turn to you for advice. Guys, I'll have links to everything Betsy has going on in the description, so make sure you check that out. Betsy, how can people connect with you, and what kind of services outside of what you mentioned can people look into to try to work with you?
Actually, I have something really exciting.
Yay.
I launched the Better With Betsy app. So my
Mhm.
website is betterwithbetsy.com, and there you can find the link to the Faith-Based Coaching Academy, which is faithbasedcoachingacademy.com. And then I usually show up most on Instagram, but I'm really in every platform. And I have the Faith and Growth podcast in every platform also, and YouTube and all the good stuff. But what I'm most excited about right now, besides my coaching academy, because that's where I pour all of me into, is the Better with Betsy app, because inside the app, there's a Betsy bot, which means that like there's an AI version of me. My kids
They
freak
did
out.
good. I'm excited to. I didn't know there
Yes.
was a Betsy bot. That's cool.
Yes. My kids like will be like, "Oh, I have a gymnastics competition tomorrow and I'm feeling a little nervous. Like, what do you think?" And then Betsy Bot tells her exactly what I would have told. She's like, "Mom, this is really creepy. Like, it really is like you." And so
That's awesome.
we've trained it with all my intellectual property, all my courses, my books, my everything. Like, so it's really exciting to see how it's supporting my entire community. My students send me screenshots of everything I told them through the app, through the bot. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's so much better than me. Like I'm gonna stay without a job one day. So what I love about it is that unlike ChatGPT, it is trained with true psycho-spiritual, like a psycho-spiritual approach to life, which means that it is well educated in the psychology side,
Mm.
but it also is founded on values and principles that elevate us inevitably and that connect us with the inner wisdom that again I call Holy Spirit. And when you're connected to that inner wisdom, success is inevitable. It's inevitable. So the Betsy Bot is like my son uses it to ask. Like he asked it the other day, like, "Oh, what are some things I can tell the girl I like via text?" It's the cutest thing. So hopefully that'll serve you. Better with Betsy app.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here. And guys, remember, check out the links in the description so you can connect with Betsy and check out her Betsy bot. Thanks, Betsy.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.